So, I've asked a fan from every single club in the Premier League to predict the title winners, the FA Cup winners, who's going to go down, how their club is going to do, and also where they think Wolves will finish this season. Make sure you give the guys and gals your support. Let's get over and see what their predictions are. Do you agree?
How's it going, Wolves fans? And how are you, my mate Dazzling Dave? Hope you're all doing well. Dave's asked me to answer a few preseason predictions from us at FFTV and what we think on the following. First question is, who's going to win the league? Can you look past Man City? The answer is probably no. They are definitely firm favourites. On question 2, and this is the interesting one, who do we think is going to go down? I gotta say, my number one candidate is Sheffield United. Can't stand the scum. I hope they finish bottom of the league. And I think they will. Then I see Luton probably 19th. Maybe a few plucky performances at their ground. But overall, have they got the strength to survive? I don't think so. And then I'm gonna say it's between Bournemouth, and you're gonna love this, Wolves. Wolves need to sort their stuff out and sort it out quickly. You've lost a few decent players. Lopetegui looks annoyed with the lack of activity going on at Wolves. So I could see you dragged into a relegation battle. But I think Bournemouth will be the third team that goes down. In terms of who's going to win the FA Cup, I'm probably going to put Chelsea on this one. Chelsea have got no European football to worry about. They're just going to be playing your so-called Saturday to Saturday. So they can afford to go on a cup run. And I think they will focus on the FA Cup. And I could see them lifting it. And then where do I think Forest will finish this season? Well, this is an interesting one. I reckon Forest are going to surprise a lot. I can see Forest being comfortable this season, a mid-table finish, and who knows, maybe even pushing up into the late European places, or maybe not. I reckon somewhere between 8th and 12th is where Forest will finish this year. And finally, what do I think of Wolves' position this year? Well, as I've already said, I can see you being in a relegation battle, and I can see you struggling. You know what you should have done? You should have kept Morgan Gibbs-White.
How's it going, mate? This is my prediction for the 2023-24 season. Now, my prediction for who's going to win it, I think it's going to be Manchester City. Now, until they start racking up some injuries, I think they're just an unstoppable team. And even then, their B team and C team are still plenty enough to really compete with most of the Premier League. Now, my prediction for who's going to get relegated, I'm thinking it's going to be Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, and Bournemouth. These three, just for the fact that Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, they are good teams, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like last season, it was just a perfect storm for them to survive, but I don't think this season they're going to do so. Regards Sheffield United, I think they're one of those sorts of teams where they're going to come up and go straight back down, or they're going to stay up for a season and then go straight back down. I just don't see them having the momentum to stick around for a while. Now, who I think is going to win the FA Cup, this really hurts me to say it. I think it's going to be Liverpool. I don't see them winning the league, but I do think they're going to aim for the FA Cup, definitely. Now, for Everton, I think we're going to finish 12th this season, just for the fact that this is the first full season under Sean Dyche, and I think he is definitely getting the best out of the players that he has got at this point in time. Now, regards to Wolves, I think you guys are going to finish somewhere around us, whether it be 11th or 13th. If I was to have to say a number, I think you guys are going to finish above us this season at 11th. Just for the fact that you're a really solid team. You were unfortunate last season, like quite a lot of the bigger teams, but I do think this season you guys are going to pick up the pieces and give the league a bit of a run. But in any case, mate, thank you very much for having me on the channel. All the best, and I'm going to hopefully see you at some point this season.
But if I'm going to pick a title winner, my title winner for next season is Manchester City. I still think they're going to have too much. Who's going down? I think it's going to be Everton, Luton, Bournemouth. They're going to go. FA Cup winners, Arsenal. I think the Dewar Trophy, I think that'll be one they'll get this season. And what position to West Ham? Do I think West Ham will finish? Right. I think we're going to be better than last season. We're still we're a club going through a lot of transition. Obviously, we've just lost our captain and we've got a few bits going on. But I'm very optimistic. But if I had to put a number where I think we're going to finish, being honest, 8th. And where do I think Wolves will finish? Do you know what? It's an interesting one, Wolves, isn't it? They're a bit like West Ham, really, in a lot of sense. We've sort of had a bit of a tough season, and then they've got so much quality. But I think Wolves will be all right. I think they're going to be all right next season. If I'm going to pick a place for Wolves, I think it'll be 10th. I think they'll just get in the top half next season, which I don't think will be a bad thing for the club. You know, you want to, one is retain your Premier League status. That's the most paramount thing for every Premier League club, isn't it? Don't go down. But the second thing is you want to have a decent season. Being a West Ham fan, I certainly feel like as long as we have a season where we're just not flirting at all with relegation, I don't want to be down anywhere near the bottom. I want to start off on the front foot and be in the top half all season. My gut feeling is Wolves will finish 10th.
Hey guys, Sammy here from Fulhamish. So my predictions for the upcoming season. Who do I think is going to win the league? I think that's pretty obvious. It's going to be Man City, isn't it? I'd like to say that it's someone else, or it might be exciting, but in reality, I don't think anyone's going to get close. Who do I think is going to go down? I'm not playing to the crowd here. I do think Wolves might go down on current basis. If you make some signings, I think Lopetegui's a good manager, then I think you'll be fine. But right now it doesn't look particularly healthy. I also think Sheffield United and Everton will go. Luton are the obvious answer, but I think they'll win lots of home games and be safe. And Burnley, the other promoted club, will be fine. FA Cup winners, I might just say Arsenal just to be different. I guess City is the obvious answer. A nice little semi-final run though for Fulham would be good. And as for Fulham, I think we're going to probably finish 13th, 14th. I think it's going to be a little bit messy at points, especially losing a player like Mitro, assuming he goes. It won't be great, but I think we'll be safe.
Hello, it's Luke from Toto Football. I'm a Crystal Palace fan, and here are some of my predictions for the upcoming Premier League season. To win the league, I believe it will be Manchester City. Easy, they're going to win it. Big squad, great squad. Relegated, I think Luton, Sheffield United and Burnley. I'm thinking the same three teams that came up are going to go down. Maybe Everton will be involved too. FA Cup winners, I think Arsenal might clinch it. Just beating Man City in the final. And I think Crystal Palace are going to finish 14th. I believe Wolves will finish 16th. They're selling lots of good players. They don't have a lot of finances. And sadly, mate, I think it's going to be a really, really big struggle for you.
Hey guys, this is Emil from the True Faith Newcastle United podcast. Thanks very much for having us on. Listen, this season is going to be interesting, but I don't think that anyone is going to be catching Manchester City. I'd like to see it, but when you've got the powerhouse up front of Erling Haaland, it is very difficult to see anyone else actually getting ahead of them because of how well they came back last season. As for teams that go down, I think Bournemouth are probably going to be struggling this year. I think getting rid of Gary O'Neill, whilst it might have been on the cards, isn't a sensible decision, and we'll see what happens. But then I don't think the strength of the teams coming up this season is as good, so I think Luton and Sheffield United will be joining Bournemouth or another team down there. FA Cup, I reckon that Arsenal might give it a good go. They are the kings of that tournament, so we'll see how it goes. As for Newcastle, I don't think we're going to get as high as last season, but I'd take maybe 5th or 6th with a very good Champions League run.
Hello everybody, it is Beth from the United Stand with my Premier League predictions. So who do I think is going to win the league? I think, unfortunately, it's going to be the same old story and Man City are going to win it again. They just have too much firepower. They have the best manager in the world, in my opinion. So I do think Man City will win it. I hope they don't. I hope United can do something. But I do think they're going to win it, if you want my honest prediction. Who do I think is going down? And I'm on a Wolves channel, so I don't want to say this. But if you want my honest opinion, I think Luton are going straight back down. I think Sheffield United are going straight back down. And unfortunately, because of the recent news that it looks like Lopetegui might be going, I think if you keep Lopetegui, I'd put maybe Bournemouth in the mix. But I think if Lopetegui goes, I think Wolves will end up going down as well. But hopefully not for you guys, but that's what I think. FA Cup, who's going to win the FA Cup? Do you know what? I'm going to go with Man United. We got in the final last year, let's go on and win it this year. And then where is Man United going to finish? Where is Man United going to finish? I'd say Man United are going to finish second. Call me delusional, but I'm going with second. We've made some good signings and Ericsson Hags just getting started. But good luck for the rest of the season, apart from on the opening game, and hopefully you manage to stay up. But good luck for the season, and yeah, see you on the opening game day.
Evening, lads. So my thoughts on winning the league is Man City. Of course it is. They're just relentless. They can turn on the style whenever they want. They've got probably the best squad in Europe, so easy pick, Man City. Who is going down? I'd say nailed on Sheffield United, Wolves and Everton. Probably not what you want to hear, but the way Sheffield United and Wolves have been stripping their assets and now Lopetegui's left, I can't see anything other than that. Everton have been flirting with death for a few years now, and I think their time has come their best players are jumping ship. They don't seem to be investing. So, yeah, I'd say Wolves, Everton, Sheffield United. FA Cup winners, I think Liverpool or Man City and Arsenal, probably the three, could be fighting out for it. Liverpool do need to win a trophy after a poor last year, so I think a domestic cup is definitely there for the taking. And what position do I think Liverpool will finish? Second. I think they'll be fighting again. Once we get the couple of midfielders in that are touted, I think we'll be up there again. It'll be between ourselves and Arsenal on who pushes Man City. And where do you think Wolves will finish? I'm sorry, Dave, I've already said this, but I think Wolves will go down. I wouldn't have said this a few weeks ago, but since the players have been pretty much leaving the club left, right and centre, and also the manager's now gone, I just cannot see a way back. I see Gary O'Neill's linked. I just don't think he's good enough to keep you up. He's done an okay job at Bournemouth, but you're going from a Lopetegui to a O'Neill. Just can't see it. Thanks, guys.
Hello, Kirk here from Cherries Red Army, Bournemouth fan. Thank you for the invitation. Who will win the Premier League? Very boring. Manchester City. They may have lost a few players, but they will continue to strengthen, and Guardiola's side will be too strong. Arsenal, I'm sure, will give them a run for their money, but Manchester City will do it. Who'll win the FA Cup? Liverpool. I think Klopp will get a tune out of this side a lot earlier on, and they'll be consistent than they were last season. So I think Liverpool have a good cup run. I'd like Bournemouth to have a cup run, I'm not going to lie, so that would be nice, but I don't think it will happen. Liverpool will win the FA Cup. 3 teams to go down: Luton Town, Sheffield United, and I'm sorry to say, Wolves. Some big players have left your team. I'm not seeing much movement coming in the other way, so I think Wolves will struggle. Sorry, guys. Bournemouth, where will we finish? Well, we want to improve on our 15th place finish from last season. We want to aim for about 12th. We also need to strengthen in a few key areas, and if we do that in this transfer window, I think we'll be a very good side under new manager Andoni Iraola. Thank you for the invite, and that's my predictions.
TV, sorry, I haven't got a Chelsea kit with me at the moment, but I've got my Dodgers kit. You know, Todd Bowley owns the Dodgers, so I'm repping it. But my prediction for who is going to win the league, I think it's an easy one. Man City, again, they've got a machine in Erling Haaland. They've got Gvardiol as well, confirmed. Just a machine of a team. So can't see them failing again, if I'm being brutally honest. Especially with Arsenal now having Champions League football. I think that Luton, Sheffield and Bournemouth are going to go down. I think Wolves, to be fair, I'm still a bit... I'm not 100% sure about Wolves, but I think they've got a great manager, so I think you'll be okay. I think Chelsea are going to finish 3rd. No European football. I think we're going to be just fine, to be honest with you, with Poch. We've made some good signings, some smart signings as well. And I think Chelsea are also going to win the FA Cup because, as I said, we don't have the issues with European football, so we can just focus on domestic competitions. But yeah, always a pleasure. I hope everyone's well. And thank you very much.
My name's Dave. I am from Luton Town podcast, Oh When the Town. You've asked me who's going to win the Premier League. Well, I don't think we can look further than Manchester City this season, based on, you know, their overall performances in recent times and the pulling power of their money, I think. Who is going down? I know every single person you've asked this question will say, I'll say Luton Town will finish bottom. So I'm just going to put on my optimistic head. And I'm going to say I'm hoping, for personal reasons, Bournemouth, Sheffield United and Everton will be the people at the bottom of the table. FA Cup winners for me, again, I can't look past Manchester City again because of how they performed over the last couple of years. Maybe Champions League might put them out this year, I don't know. It didn't last year, did it? And possibly a surprise package, and I don't really want to say this right now, but possibly a surprise package of Aston Villa. Where are we going to finish? Well, I'm hoping that we finish one place above the relegation zone, and that will do me.
Hi there, it's Dave Lane here from besotted Brentford. Almost time for the new season. Looking forward to it, I have to admit. Been out to the Brentford US tour, which, although we didn't win, it was a really good pre-season warm-up. I can't really see anyone apart from Man City winning the league this year. I think Arsenal will push them close again, but it's City's to lose for sure. As for going down, well, Everton, Luton and Sheffield United are probably my choices. I think Luton are probably going to put up a good fight. They would do, but I think it's just going to prove too tough for them. Hope they prove me wrong, but it's good to see the underdogs in this division. FA Cup winners. Not many of the biggies really go for it, do they, until later on. So something like Man United, probably again, they'll take it really seriously from the start. Although I think we should give it a good go this year. You know, I think we're good enough to go long. Brentford, I think, will finish above halfway again. I'll take exactly where we were last year. It was just a brilliant season. So I'll go top 10 for us. And Wolves, I think, will finish a little bit below, but comfortably mid-table, if not higher. You had a bit of a patchy season last year. You probably deserve something a little bit more consistent. So yeah, hopefully you all have a great season. I look forward to seeing you at the G-Tech, and we'll be up to Molyneux as and when, and hopefully we'll do better than we did last year. Come on, you bees.
Hi, my name is Chris Cowlin, Tottenham fan. Dave, thanks so much for having me on your channel. Now, my predictions for the upcoming season. Premier League, Manchester City all day long. They're just so strong. They will certainly take some beating this season yet again after doing the treble last year. FA Cup, I think Man City will probably win that, although I would love to see Tottenham win it. It's been far too long since we last won it. 1991, Gary Mabbott last lifted the FA Cup for Tottenham. In terms of relegation, probably Luton Town, sadly. Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth could even go down. Sheffield United, perhaps. In terms of where Wolves will finish in the Premier League table next year, probably mid-table. Tottenham, of course, finished 8th last season. We will certainly be looking for improvement on that and getting back into Europe. It'd be interesting to see if Spurs end up keeping Harry Kane for the coming season. But hopefully it'll be a good one. And I'll be following Spurs home and away all season. Have a good one, Wolves fans. Come on, you Spurs.
Hi, Johnny Cochran here from the Arsenal Opinion Podcast. Here are my predictions for the upcoming season. First off, who do I think is going to win the league? Arsenal. Have you heard of us? No, seriously, I do think we might well have enough to get the job done this year. We were very close last year, and we've made a few shrewd acquisitions, so hopefully that's enough to push us over the edge. And apart from that, City, whilst they have improved in some areas, they've got some good players come in. They've also lost some key individuals. Gundogan, I think, will be a big miss for them. FA Cup. We can't win everything, obviously, so I'll give that one to City. They're too good to not win anything, but yeah, I think City will probably win it with their B team. Who will get relegated? I've got to say it's one of them seasons where, like most seasons really, the promoted clubs will struggle, but I definitely think at least 2 of them are going down. Sheffield United, Nunite, Luton Town, you know, cherish the memories. You won't be here for long. But I do think that Burnley probably will have enough to stick around, and Nottingham Forest, they may be the ones to succumb. How do I think Wolves will do? Well, I think it's not going to be a great season. Ultimately, just have not got goal scorers in your team, and unfortunately that should mean that you're going to struggle all year. And I think narrowly avoid relegation yourself.
JSGC here from the JSGC Man City fan channel. Thank you very much to the Always Wolves Fan TV for letting me feature in this video and giving some of my thoughts ahead of the Premier League season. I think Manchester City are going to win the Premier League this season. I think City are going to break records, are going to become the first ever team to make it 4 Premier League trophies in a row. No other team has done that. I think City have got the best squad, the best manager, and I can't see any team out there stopping Manchester City right now. In terms of relegation, who do I think is going to go down? I think Sheffield United are going to finish bottom. Wolves fans aren't going to like me for this one, but in my Premier League prediction, I've got them in 19th. Unless they have a big, strong finish in this transfer window, I can see Wolves being relegated. And a little outsider, I'm going to put Nottingham Forest in there as well. Fulham, Everton, Bournemouth, I expect to be down there too. FA Cup winners, I don't think we're going to win it this time. I think it will be United or Arsenal. And Wolves, I think they're going to finish 19th. If they have a strong finish in the transfer window, could avoid relegation.
It's a pleasure to be asked on to represent AVFC in our pre-season predictions. I feel as though every year these are always a whirlwind and a surefire way to come into criticism at the end of the season due to my awful predictions, which never seem to get any better, which is a shame. However, new year comes new hope. So starting off, I think City will win the league. I think they are probably the only team in the Premier League with that ruthlessness and really know how to dig out performances just when they need to make sure that they get over the line. They've shown it year after year, and I just can't see anyone upsetting the apple cart this year. So City to win the league. Who is going down? Unfortunately for you, I do think Wolves will be one of the 3 teams that drop. I also think Sheffield United, crazy decision to let most of their best players go, especially after being promoted. So I think they'll be the second team. And the third team, I want to go for someone a bit different. I don't want to give the same answers as everyone else. So I'm going to go for Fulham to go down this season, unfortunately. FA Cup, as much as I'd love to sit here and predict Villa to go and win the FA Cup, I don't think I've seen us get past the 3rd round since I've been out of nappies, so I think that would be slightly unrealistic. And for no reason whatsoever, I do think Chelsea might lift the FA Cup this year. In terms of Villa, it's interesting to see how Conference League will affect us. You never know, playing the extra European games, that could hinder us in the long run. I do think we will finish 8th this year, and if we have a good cup run, or cup runs, I should say, then I would be more than happy with that, establishing ourselves as a top half team. And then my last prediction is, where do I think Wolves will finish? Unfortunately for you, I have said that you're going to go down. Luckily for you, I don't think you'll finish bottom. However, 19th is going to be where I place you this season. Thank you for having me on, and sorry to Wolves fans, I hope I haven't let you down or upset you too much.
Hi, my name's Jack. I'm a Brighton fan, and so I thought I'd send over the predictions for you. So, winning the league, I think it's going to be Man City again. That is a really boring answer, but that is what I think is going to happen, to be honest. I think they're too strong. They're, one of the best teams in the world, and watching them twice last season, even though we got a point against them, they were just magnificent to watch. In terms of the 3 teams who I think are going down, as a Wolves fan, you're probably not going to like this, but I do think Wolves are going to go down. I don't think it's through any real fault it's nothing personal. It's just that I just think the club's been really badly mismanaged. I mean, the whole Alex Scott transfer was a bit weird. How you didn't want to... couldn't sign him, haven't got any money for players, as well as Neves and Jimenez going. It just seems a bit of a weird year for them. As well, the whole Lopetegui situation's a bit strange. I also think Sheffield United are going to go down, and I think it will probably be Luton in the end, but I think they'll put up a hell of a fight, and I think they'll be the third from bottom relegation place. In terms of FA Cup winners, which is not one I've ever been asked to predict before, but I like it. I think it's going to be... It's a weird one. I think it's probably just going to be Man City again. Really boring answer. The FA Cup's getting more and more boring every year because it just seems to be the same teams winning it. So that is a shame. But maybe somebody could have a good run. I mean, we had a good run last season. And then in terms of Brighton's finishing place, I think we're going to finish between about 12th and 8th. Not in the European places, but not in any real trouble of relegation. I think the extra games in Europe will take their toll on us, and we'll struggle to a certain extent to adapt to that. I mean, it's the first time we're ever going to do this 2 games in a week thing quite consistently, so it'll be interesting to see. And that's it.
Hi, my name is Johnny from Sheffield United fan channel, The Shoreham View. I've been asked some questions that have been put forward to me, so I'll give the answers to the best of my ability. Who's winning the league? Manchester City. There's no other club coming close to them. They're a bit of a super club at the moment. So much money, too many good players. Nobody's getting close to them. FA Cup. I'm going to go outside the box and say Brentford, because I think a lot of the bigger clubs were playing in Europe. There's a lot of extra games coming around, so they'll probably be putting out weakened teams. It gives other clubs a bit of a chance to go for it, really. Let's see, apart from that, relegated. If I don't include us in that, I think it's going to be Burnley, then Everton, and then Forest. We could easily be in that. But I'll try and be optimistic. Where do I think we'll finish? Well, staying on that same optimistic route, 4th from bottom. I say good luck to you all this season, but I don't mean it.
Hey guys, Nathan here from Holtecast podcast. My picks are City are going to win the league. I think Everton, Luton and Sheffield United are going to get relegated. I think Chelsea are going to win the FA Cup. I think they're going to have a good year under Pochettino. I think Burnley are going to finish. I think we're going to finish about 13th. I think we're going to have an okay season, clear of all the problems. I think we're going to have a good season, and I think Wolves are going to have a difficult season this year. But I think with Gary O'Neill now in, I think you've made a good choice in a manager, and I think you'll finish 15th. Cheers, guys.